So the Elimination Chamber, I didn't watch the first part of this, so I missed this match, the women's elimination. But basically, Nikki was eliminated by Raquel. Liv Morgan was eliminated by Natalya and Asuka. Natalya was eliminated by Carmella. Raquel was eliminated by Asuka and Carmella. And then Asuka defeated Carmella and Asuka at the end. And so Asuka defeated Carmella at the end. And so Asuka goes to WrestleMania against Bianca Belair, which to me is, I guess, but it's like, when I look at that match, I'm thinking, okay, there's like zero heat right now for that. So I wonder what they're going to be doing. You know,
right. For some reason, Asuka's very over with their hardcores, maybe the casual fan, I'm not sure, and The Office. And right. She is a good worker. You know what? Something that I noticed the other day, you're right. She looks way better without her makeup.
Without her makeup.
I don't know why they have. Right. I don't know either.
They haven't changed that look at all, and she could use a change. Right. You know, so.
Let me just say this so I don't have to say it 30 times when we talk about incredible video packages as usual, right. Incredible production as usual, great camera close-ups when they needed it, whoever it might be, great angles. Like I like that overhead shot that they had of like the Elimination Chamber that they kept going to. That was great. They're just great at all that, bro. As I said before in SmackDown, Liv has gotten better, but she's definitely not like in the worker realm of like, you know, Natty and Rhea and Bayley and Bianca and Becky and Charlotte. Like that click, she's not there yet. What else did I Nikki acting like a while she's inside the pod, I guess, you know. Bro, nice crossbody off the top of the pod by Nikki to the floor. Here's my problem with this match, which I have with most of the women's matches. No one, even the winner of this match, stood out like Rhea did at the Royal Rumble or Cody or Gunther did at the Royal Rumble. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the problem. Nikki, for being so small, is very physical, which I like. You know, Natty got the big pop for being in Canada. You know, and they did a lot of like double submissions, like Natty and Asuka pinned Morgan, like one had her in the sharpshooter, people pop for that. Then Asuka came and did some arm bar thing and she passed out. The eliminations were good. You know, I like that they had Carmella at the end because, as you know, I think she has the it factor. And bro, she's got this weird gear that she wore there and at Raw. She wears like these tights and then she's got like a sewn-on thong. It's very weird looking. Sewn-on thong on the outside of like tights.
Mm-hmm.
Looks very weird.
So then we go to we have Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. This match was not very long, but I'm going to read the summary, okay? Because it's a very short read, okay? This is from Jason Powell. So, actually, is this Jason Powell? Yes, it is Jason Powell. Oh, did you find out about that, Joe? About Jason Powell kicked out of the AW scrums? Did I ask you to find that out?
No, we were talking about him with fantasy football and stuff, but you didn't ask that.
Okay,
I can ask him that.
I read it somewhere online that like that Powell is not allowed in the scrums. Okay, like I guess something happened with him and Tony. Maybe he said and he's been blackballed. I read that. I wanted you if you could verify that for me. See if you look that up.
Asking him now, yeah.
Okay, all right,
bro. The thing is that makes you look bad when people hear this. And you know how you fix that? If you don't like what somebody's saying about your company or you think he's going to ask a loaded question, obviously, we would confront them, right?
Right.
Some people don't like to confront adversity. I understand that.
Right.
You know what I would do? You know what I would do? I would invite him so nobody finds out I'm a snowflake, and I'd just never I'd never let him ask a question. Boom.
Right. Okay, so next is Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. So Lesnar picked up Lashley, drove him into the corner, and then performed a German suplex. Lesnar tossed Lashley to ringside and followed him and threw him back inside. And when Lesnar returned to the ring, Lashley speared him, covered him for near fall. And Lashley speared him a second time. Now the crowd is booing here. I guess they like Brock, right?
Right.
So then Lashley went for the hurt lock, but Lesnar blocked it. Lesnar countered into an F5 and covered Lashley for a near fall, and Lesnar sold the effects of Lashley's spear once he stood up and then hit a second F5 and covered Lashley for another near fall. A one more time chant broke out, and Lashley applied the hurt lock. Lesnar started the fade and came back to life and tried to power out of the hold, and when that didn't work, Lesnar kicked Lashley in the balls to end the match in a DQ. So, I mean, Was he the?
That's a heel move, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, but then but it was funny because he was getting the babyface reaction, right? So after the match, Lesnar grabbed referee Chad Patton and put him down with an F5, and the crowd cheered. Then Lesnar grabbed Lashley, gave him another F5. Then Grace questioned when is the last time Lesnar was so desperate that he had to resort to a low blow, and Lashley went to ringside, and then Lesnar followed him and gave him an F5 through the broadcast table. A whole chant broke out, and then Lesnar pulled the referee out of the ring and then gave an F5 onto the pile of the broken broadcast table. And Cole said there's not a person on the planet who's as scary as Lesnar. What do you think of this?
Well, they know that Lesnar's over and that he can do a kick to the balls and people won't turn on him because that's like his, he doesn't give a and they've done a good job of booking that persona, right? And the people super pop always, so they went back to it, and which made up for that weak finish. They love when he's F5ing people and suplexing people on the tables, and bro, he F5'd Lashley into the table, then he F5'd the referee after that, and he just went nuts, and the people loved it. And I heard Lashley and Wyatt were going to hook up, or it was going to be a three-way. Yeah. I'm not a fan of Wyatt's wrestling, bro. He should not even be wrestling at all. He should have people wrestling. Howdy doody. I don't. Yeah, he should take a page out of Raven's book and start his own flock and have them wrestle for him.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I read for some reason because here in this report it sounds like they were going to continue Lashley and Lesnar, but I read that they're going to split off to Lashley and Bray and then Lesnar and Omos.
What?
Well, I saw the change. I don't know
which is worse.
I mean, I don't know. I will say
that might just be a red herring, but that's what I read.
If anybody had any confusion as to whether or not Seth Rollins was playing the version of the Joker character, they had a WrestleMania Hollywood commercial which showed Seth Rollins wearing Joker makeup and dancing like Joaquin Phoenix. So,
which is very good.
Yeah. But that's what his character.
Right.
It's like for anybody that any doubts that's what the character he's been doing for. So basically I guess they showed Ariel Helwani in the crowd again, and Michael Cole took a swipe at Tony Khan and said he asked all the tough questions whether you want to answer them or not. So they pop for that. So then we do Edge and Beth versus Rhea Ripley and Finn Balor. Dominic has solar heat.
Right. Incredible
Dominic.
heat.
F you, bro. And like I said, this Montreal crowd is kind of like the AEW smart crowd. You can't, the fans don't get this, right? Using vulgar language at a show, I get it, but we all know this is a work and everything and all that. And it comes across as good heat, but there's a lot of kids that watch this stuff, and if you chant like that, they're going to post, edit, and drown out the crowd sounds. So think of something else to cheer besides using vulgar language when you're getting on the heels. It's like, I don't know why the fans think it's necessary. It's like the ECW crowd's been reborn again, and we'll just go to the show and cuss it, or I don't know. It's just that's not.
Yeah, that's. I just think
something that it's a trend trending that way, and I don't like the way that trend is going because I know what can happen. They could They mute it. They'll start censoring everything, and that's what'll happen.
That's a world we live in. How many football games have you gone to where you find that same thing? F you the Chiefs, f you this, f you that.
Right.
And you see it in playoffs in baseball all over, bro. That's a reflection of society. They're just more aggressive. They're more foul mouthed, and they don't give a. They're out there to have a good time, and they don't give a if it's TV or not. That's great heat for him. Great heat. And I'm, bro, that was a good match. Go ahead and talk about the match, and I'll go over it.
So then Beth Phoenix looked pretty good here. Yep. She was not. She was very serviceable. They kept these guys. Everybody in here, like with Edge laying out a match, it's not going to suck, and it's going to be pretty good. Great selling with everybody, but basically, Phoenix hit the Grand Slam on Ripley at ringside. Then Edge put Balor down the ring, and then hit Dom with a suicide dive on the floor. Crowd popped. Edge returned to the ring and went for a spear, but Balor beat him to the punch with a sling blade clothesline, and then Balor set it for a drop kick, but Edge speared him. And then, now as where wrestling gets nerdy, all right? So Edge and Phoenix teamed up and hit FTR's big rig on Balor, and then Edge pinned him, right? And, bro, after the match, all the wrestling nerds are trying to explain to everybody, well, the reason they did that is because Edge trained with because he lives in Asheville, North Carolina, and he trained with FTR and everybody knows that. That's why there was a tribute to FTR.
Right.
And I'm like, people like if you watch wrestling and that's what's going through your mind, like dude, come on, like like they're trying to explain to people what like that's actually a throwback to FTR, not just a move they did to finish the match, whatever. But I thought this was pretty good. I saw the second half of this match, so
yeah, I saw the whole thing. The crowd was really, really hot for Edge. Great heat for Dom, as we just said. And the beginning, a lot of the beginning was Phoenix and Ripley in there. Kind of like when Liv Morgan and Natty started the Elimination Chamber. They were in there for quite a while, and they did a good job. But they did a great job here. You can tell there's good chemistry between the two. I love the finish, and I like that superplex that Phoenix gave Ripley. Right, that was sweet, and the way Dominic sold it too, bro. As we've said before, from Madcap Moss to the Brawling Brutes, to the Bang Bros, okay? Listen to the name of Edge and the Glamazon, the Grit Couple.
Yeah, what? The Grit Couple.
Do you guys eat grits? I mean,
seriously, that's what I think of.
So JoJo.
I think that we should do a vignette where they're sitting at Waffle House, and the they order
and they're ordering grits.
Yeah, and the waiter comes over, and the waiter weighs like 240 pounds.
Right.
And he just dumps the grits on the table, and they spill everywhere. And he's like, "You got a problem with that?" They start fighting in the Waffle House.
Or the next time
remember that viral video that showed the fight in the Waffle House a couple months ago?
Yeah. Well, how many? Right. There's always a fight at the Waffle House or at Denny's.
They could the grit.
That 3 o'clock in the morning, coming back from a club drunk, and you got the munchies. Always goes down at a Denny's or a Waffle House or whatever it is. Yeah,
bro, I'm from the mean streets of Marietta, Georgia.
They are mean streets.
Growing up, I haven't seen a few fights at Waffle House parking lots at 3 o'clock in the morning. So, so then we have the Elimination Chamber match. It's Theory, Rollins, Gargano, Bronson Reed, Montez Ford, and Damian Priest. I kind of excluded. That Gargano, Bronson Reed, and Damian Priest weren't going to win this, but you thought that maybe Ford might be an outside shot, but outside shot, but it's either going to be Austin Theory or Rollins, right? Did you assume that going in?
Yes.
Okay. This was good stuff. I'm going to pick on. I like Theory a lot. Great personality, he's a good worker. However, he's getting very lazy with his selling. Okay, all of his sells, like in this match, are the thing where like you get hit in the head and you keel over and you fall down like you're knocked out. He's got a you know how like when you watch Dominic sell and he's very animated. Like always talk about like the Austin Theory doesn't do a lot with his hands when he's selling. And you need to do because, like I always tell people when I teach them to sell, acknowledge the point of contact. If somebody kicks you in the head, like you're like in a real fight, if you get kicked in the head, your arms aren't just going to be dangling at your side while you fall down.
You're going to reach for your head,
reaching for the side of your head and fall.
And bro, that's a great segue to say this. And if you don't think this goes good with his hand, you can visit him at the Shake Shack in Las Vegas.
Okay, that's a cheap shot.
All right, but I just wanted people to know.
Just edit that, Joe. Just edit
that was unnecessary.
Yeah, disgusting.
Very necessary.
Right. So, but he's got good personality. I'm just saying he needs to engage more in his selling because he's a heel and heels.
You do have a point. You do have a point there.
Yeah. Right. So if he listens to this, just start. Like I said, watch how Dominic sells. Dominic is like everybody should watch how Dominic Mysterio sells these days because he's the guy that's doing more work selling than anybody else in that company right now. And Ricochet is very good at it too. So basically, the great finish here. So they did a spot at the end where Montez Ford is outside the ring and his legs are inside on like the second rope. So he's hanging down, and Rollins comes on the what do we call it? The grating. The grating outside the ring, right? And they give him a curb stomp on the grating. Okay, pull him in the ring, or actually, Theory pulls him in the ring. 1, 2, 3. Okay. After Rollins had pinned him. So then they did a gimmick where the match kind of like it looked like Montez Ford was hurt as a shoot. And they kind of did the work shoot thing where that looked like, because I thought this was a shoot, it looked like he was knocked out cold. They showed the replay in slow motion. Okay, and like they were like so, and the announcers and everybody were treating this like this was a shoot energy, a shoot injury.
Yeah, I think a lot of people believe that.
Right, so they picked him up and they're carrying him out. So I guess he was knocked out, knocked out. He's got the rubber legs, hardest in to the point where he's just dead weighting the guys that are, which is the way you're supposed to do it if you want to be a shoot. Don't worry, just let them pick you up and grab you. If they're carrying you and you look like you're falling, just let yourself fall. And he kind of felt they kind of dropped him almost one time, and they picked him up. But while the door was open for this, out of nowhere, this is such a great spot because nobody expected this. Logan Paul came out of nowhere. Rollins is getting up. He comes to the ring, and it perfectly times it hits the buckshot lariat, hits Rollins with it, right? Huge heat from the crowd. He started playing to the crowd and then turns around and gives Rollins a curb stomp too, right? And then goes and climbs outside the ring, and they close the gate. The referee's got him out. He climbed on the thing because there's no DQ match, but nobody's supposed to be able to get into the elimination chamber, right? But he got it because they did the spot with him getting hurt. But I thought that was great. And then Theory beat him 1-2-3, and Theory keeps the belt. Great finish. Forwarded the WrestleMania match and kept the belt on Austin Theory. What did you think of this?
Okay, I saw the whole thing. I thought this match was great. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I thought that this is what I liked about this match, which when I book in Mexico, I try to do this when I have a lot of good workers. I don't just let the two guys that are going to stay at the end or the guy that's going to win look good. Everybody needs to look good. So when you do win, it's a big deal. So like Bronson Reed, they let him, use his physicality and his size in the ring. Damian Priest looked good when it was his time to shine. Gargano looked good when it was his time to everybody. Montez Ford has some really good punches. I like when Reed did that Rollins or Gargano fall away slam Samoan drop combo. That was great. I liked when Ford springboarded into a drop kick into Gargano and he did the Poison Rana, which could have been very dangerous. There was a lot of cool spots, but nothing cooler than the incredible, impeccable timing of Logan Paul, who looks like a veteran in the game. He's very scary because he's only been a short time. He already gets it. He's not nervous. He's good in the ring. He's good on the mic. He knows where to be, bro. He buckshot it perfectly, pretended he was going out, turned around, did the curb stomp without hurting the guy and making it look good, okay? And then shut the cage, got on the cage, and mocked the guy. He was great. Awesome.
He was, bro. He was in there for. He had a 2-minute appearance and stole the match.
Right, and to piss people off, he was dressed in a loud yellow canary thing and yellow boots. Yeah, right.
I mean, he's hit a home run. Everything they've done with this guy,
everything.
So right.
So and they're obviously leading to him and Rollins, which is
WrestleMania.
Spectacular.
Right. That's what I said, bro. I'm honestly.
Everything will be good. The promo, the match, the build up, everything.
Yep.
We argued this a couple weeks ago. Honestly, you could build that match up enough to where it could headline night one. I think it would be that big of a match. Bro, Logan Paul pulls in a lot of people outside the bubble. Now
he I only got to see the main event of this card because I was editing the show, so I joined late. But you said he got a negative reaction there.
Oh yeah, he got heat. Absolutely.
So when they do Logan against Rollins in California for WrestleMania, how do you think they're going to play that? Who's going to be the babyface? Who's going to be the heel?
It'll be mixed. It'll be mixed reaction for Logan Paul because a lot of hot girls will be at the show cheering for him, but the hardcore crowd will be there
going to cheer for Seth. Okay.
Yeah, so it'd be great. It's going to be great reaction, and Seth is kind of a mixed bag too. And plus, too, they sing along with Seth, so he's going to be the babyface, but Rollins is going to be the heel. He's going to be what's his name? Logan's going to be the heel, but he's going to have fans there, So it's going to be it'll be good atmosphere. That's why I say it can main event night one because they're going to kill it. He's already main evented a pay-per-view against Roman Reigns.
You got to
sit there and tell me he can't main event against Seth.
It's a good idea in theory, Di, but that one of the nights I got a main event with the women.
Yeah, but I don't think the women have. Honestly, you think because of diversity, equity.
Yeah, I think they just do. It just is.
It's like the snowflake narrative thing where you have to.
Bro, I think they
don't do it. You're insulting the women. That's
nothing against the women. Okay, well then, too bad. If you ain't got something bigger than Seth Rollins and Logan Paul and Seth Rollins, then you go underneath them.
Right.
What's the problem?
Yeah. Go ahead.
If Charlotte was wrestling, I don't know.
Are they going for Charlotte and Becky? Is that what they're going to go for?
Are they? I guess.
So there you go. That could be. There's your
Let's
other
say
night.
For some dumb reason, Charlotte was wrestling, let's say, that Brittany Griner girl, the basketball player. That's a big deal.
Right,
you know?
It is a big deal.
And if they did do good promos and Griner looked good in the ring, then you could main event. But you don't have that. Logan Paul, there's no woman in WWE that has as big a following as Logan Paul. Would I be correct or no? Or is there
Absolutely
somebody that
correct.
does? Okay,
Nobody close.
Oh no, I'm sorry. It's going to be Charlotte and Rhea. So,
Rhea, that's right. Okay,
yeah.
let me run something by you here. What was I going to say? God,
I wanted to read this. Well, if you guys are interested in this little interlude here, more Ariel Helwani controversy is Jonathan Coachman came out after him. Would you like to hear their exchange?
Yeah, let's hear what they said.
So after Helwani appeared, Coachman tweeted, this is a series of tweets. It's really cool to see an event that Ariel can actually get in the building for. I would be excited also. Ariel is not allowed in the building for UFC events, and ESPN clearly didn't know that when they hired him, which is why he only lasted one contract. Also, the mockery he makes of pro wrestling, like he could ever do it, not only upsets me, but a lot of people actually in the business. When you do this for a living like I did for well over 10 years. Look back at the last year.
Let me ask you a question. I'm not protecting anybody. Have you ever heard Ariel mocking wrestling?
I've never heard that. I don't even know what he's talking about.
Well, no, but he says here that in the last year, Ariel's talked trash to Booker T on a talk show. And he says Ariel was 140 pounds soaking wet. He is a fan. That's it. Fans are not WWE talent. He is not and will never be.
Bro, he seems like a respectful guy. I don't think he'd be talking trash to Book.
And maybe he put the show over. He was there like putting over Montreal.
Right, and acting like a mark.
Like a mark, right.
Yeah. Well, that's what he says.
Yeah.
He says,
Sammy, with George St. Pierre. How cool was that?
Pierre, right, yeah. George St. Pierre was in the house, too.
So at the end, he says, Triple H has a show to promote, and they know Fanboy will do whatever they want him to do. And so then Ariel responds, if you're wondering why I didn't respond to Coach on the show, well, my rule is you have to be at least a 1.7 on the relevant meter to warrant one on the air. The guy who hosts PFL betting segments from his basement in his best men's warehouse doesn't make the cut. Sorry, Bap. Guy's still mad DC turned him down and chose to do a show with me instead. Maybe he just wants Dana to really like him. Who knows? Never met him. Not sure why he's so obsessed with me, but it's going on 3 years now, and it's getting a little creepy. Yeah. There you go. Ariel versus Coachman.
Well, one thing Ariel can do, okay, and is very, very well known to do. Bro, if you bury Ariel Helwani publicly, he goes on his podcast and he eviscerates you.
He's going to zing back.
He is going to absolutely cut a mass. Bro, he cut it. I've seen him cut. There's clips of him like Ariel Helwani responds to so and so, and it's like 35 minutes. Like he just cuts like everything. He just unloads on people, you know. Yeah. So
Dana White, Brendan Schaub.
Bro, he's absolutely very entertaining, you know. And he gets to and because he's got a podcast, he can say what he gets into detail. You know, reads the text. Right. So it's like, you know, I would not insult.
He brings the venom. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Madden's like that too. Like,
well, that's how you have to be sometimes. Yeah. You have to just you want to talk, shit's on.
So basically, Roman comes out, Solar Heat. Sammy comes out, bro. They took almost 5 minutes. Like the bell rang and they just soaked in the crowd reaction for like literally like almost 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. And you know what that reminds me of? Okay, is I used to go to the Omni. Right, and when like Dusty and Flair had been built up for a month or so, and they were having a big blow off at the Omni, they would just to be 5 minutes before they locked up. You know, Flair would just strut around, woo, the crowd, and Dusty would do a little dance, and the crowd would pop, and Flair would get and stuff, and they just let the crowd build, and that's smart, because like a lot of times these days, a lot of wrestlers don't really soak in crowd reactions before they start the bell rings and everybody goes, well, I got to get my in here, and like we've got 14 minutes and we got to start right now because we really have 18 minutes stuck in a 14-minute bag. And it's like, so they don't really work the crowd like these guys did here, so basically there was a couple spots you knew who's going to, well, I didn't know who's going to win because a lot of people in Montreal thought Sammy's was going to win, but they had a good little false finish for Sammy where he Roman went for the spear in the corner. Sammy moved out of the way, hit him with a move. Roman staggered to the buckle, and Sammy did the Roman Superman punch, and then hit the haluva kick and got the big 1-2 and kick out. Everybody thought that was going to be finished. That was a very good false finish. What did you think of that false finish, Konnan?
Excellent.
So then Roman puts him down. Then and Paul goes underneath the ring and grabs a chair, slides a chair in the ring but then Jey Uso comes in, and he's between Roman and what you call it. So then Roman hands Jey Uso the chair, okay, and is telling him to do the job and are you with us or against us? Mm-hmm. And he starts giving the pie face again, and then like he did to Sammy before Sammy hit him with the chair, but Roman was doing that, and everybody thought that Jey was going to hit Roman. But Sammy went to go spear Roman, and Roman moved out of the way, and Sammy speared Jey. Roman picks up the chair, wallops him with the chair a bunch, and then hits the spear and then covers him 1, 2, 3.
And even the placement in the ring, DI, was like Roman had his back turned here. Jey's over here with the chair. Sammy's over here. It looked exactly the same way it did the month before when Sammy turned on. They kind of
that was on purpose. That was a callback.
Right.
Which
they made it they're gonna
greatly done, bro. Fever pitch. People with Zayn, incredible. Like I said, this was probably the biggest match of his career, and it's because he's getting the rub from Roman. You know, for all the people that think Zayn should have gone over, which I repeat, I had no problem with Zayn going over because Roman has to make somebody. He's already Roman Reigns. He has to make Cody or he has to make Sammy, and I have no problem if Sammy continues in this ascension and to stay this hot, giving it to him in the future.
Okay, I would agree with that, but I'm saying this spot at this point in time, even though they were in Montreal, was not the place for Roman to drop the belt with WrestleMania 6 weeks away. It's not, so that's we could talk about if Sammy should beat him at WrestleMania, but in this spot, you don't. Bro, he's been the champ for 900 days or something.
It's been building up for 900 days. Yeah.
6 weeks before he's gonna lose. That defeats the whole purpose of the blow-off match, the WrestleMania. So after the match, now this was surprising.
Bro, he ate him up with that chair, by the way.
Yeah.
He ate him up.
So Jimmy entered the ring after the match, and Reigns encouraged Jimmy to attack Santa. Now this was surprising because I thought that Jimmy, I don't know what they did to get, but if you've gotten DUIs and stuff like recently, you can't get into Canada.
Yeah.
Okay. Jimmy was here. And I know that he had that DUI stuff. I was surprised. Yep. Which is why I thought when Jay did the spot, I thought, okay, well, that's just Jay. Jimmy isn't here tonight probably because he can't, but that's what I was thinking. But so then Jimmy went out to meet Owens. Owens made quick work of Jimmy. He comes in the ring. He tackled Reigns. There's several punches of Reigns. And basically they do the thing where he gives him the haluva. Owens lets Sammy kick him in the corner, and Owens stood on the stage and looked at Sammy. Sammy looked at the crowd and they cheered loudly, and Zayn held up his arm and sold frustration over not winning, but the crowd popped at the end. So, what'd you think of this?
Yeah, like I said yesterday, I think they're saving the Jay thing and they're saving the Kevin Owens and Sammy hug, I think till WrestleMania.
Right.
Because in Raw, nothing was fixed.
Do you think eventually the Jey Uso, given the choice to if you're going to kick Sammy?
No, because he may use the excuse that he got speared by Sammy to team up with his brother.
And that's lame.
It's lame, but that may be. Yeah.
But I think I think in the end, my idea of Jey Uso eventually choosing Sammy to side with over Roman is going to be the next arc of the story. Because I don't think they're going.
That would be great.
Because there's no way.
I would like either one.
Because let me tell you something. There's no way you can that this is a blow off for Sammy. Just take him out of this angle. Right. I mean, that they're there's so much more stuff you could do weekly with vignettes and private cut. Jay trying to convince Sammy to maybe come back to the blood. Just there's a million ways you could go, but
I like it, but I think they're gonna do Kevin Owens and Sammy. I like both of them.
Yeah.
Right. I could see this would be good stuff.
I could actually write down with you, Disco, and either scenario we could write good for. Would you agree?
Plus two. I could see a scene like this. Remember in the movie Heat, where De Niro and Pacino go to the diner. One of my
favorite movies, bro.
They have the sit down. They have the conversation.
Right,
bro. You could do a spot like that where Cody is on the couch and him and Roman are talking about what are they going to what's going to happen.
That would be great.
Because Cody's a good actor too.
Yeah,
you could immediately just throw him in these. Absolutely, you could stick him in this and get over huge. He's a good actor. So
and I because Pacino said the same thing De Niro said to him. I like guys like you because you keep me on my toes.
Right. Yeah. They could give each other kind of mutual respect.
Right.
in a private
I'm still gonna
setting
bust your ass.
Right. You know. And Paul there with the creepy facials in the background. Right?
Paul is great, bro.
Yeah, but that was Elimination Chamber. Like I said,
I thought the elimination match was good. The main event was good.
In the progression of the story, the Bloodline storyline angle, this was fine. That's the way I looked at it. So, you know, because like I don't want to know what's going to happen next. You know,
well, I think it was more than fine. I thought it was very, very good.
Well, like I said, I did not think that they would do Sammy going for the spear for Roman. Roman moved out of the way and he hits Jay. Like that, Sammy's the one that hits Jay. You know, that's not a trump card that I would have played, that I would have even thought of. You know, so
right.
But yeah, but I thought this is pretty good. WWE, bro. There's another one. Once again, how many in a row is this? Like a year straight that they've had it. Like every pay per view, it's like, wow, that's another good pay per view by the WWE.
Yeah,
like every single
really good run.
It's been a great run, right? So, all right. Did you watch?
I got to.
What about Jason Powell? Did you get the response?
He hasn't answered yet. No, I got a split, but I wanted to say before I left, Konnan, that Heat, the original writer of it, made a sequel novel that came out last summer. It's probably going to be made into a movie, but if you're looking for something to read.